All right, welcome back into another episode to the show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, I am dipping into the Red Sox system. I have David Sandlin on the pod today. Obviously, Sandlin has been on this show a few times. He's a great guy. He's just fresh off winning Player of the Week for AA for a complete game shutout that he pitched last week against Altoona. So we talk about that. We talk about what kind of things he's really working on. Obviously, he's one of the top ranked Red Sox arms in the system. So we kind of dive into, his starts this year, what he's working on, maybe some goals that he has for the season. But before I go any further, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcast, please like, subscribe, do your thing. Give me a thumbs up, something. Let me know I'm doing okay, doing a bad job. Don't care what it is. Anything helps. But I'm going to quit yapping. And without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with David Sandlin. All right. I am joined by David Sandlin of the Red Sox organization. Obviously, David is I think he's been on the show a couple times now, but obviously he's fresh off winning Player of the Week. We wanted to have him on and ask him a few questions. That's actually right where I'm going to start. David, you threw a complete game, 7-inning shutout this past week in Altoona to win Player of the Week. What was working? How are you feeling that day?
Felt really good. I think the biggest thing this season has been the size I've kind of put on a little bit has helped me feel really, really healthy. And now that we're getting acclimated, weather's getting a little warmer, getting to go later in the games as long as the pitch count is still efficient. I think we just kind of had 3 pitches working in the zone, the kind of bullet, slider, cutter, sweeper and fastball, working inside the zone whenever I wanted to throw it. So that was really good. And being able to work the sweeper to lefties as well was a big advantage for me. I think the biggest difference these last 2 weeks is getting ahead with the spin to get the guys off the fastball and protect it a little bit more.
You brought something up at the very beginning of your answer there, and you were kind of talking about the weather warming up a bit. And I feel like it's a little lost and maybe underrated for, maybe the fans out there that just peek at the box scores, maybe look at your baseball reference page, look at your stats in April and early May up in Portland. And they don't know I guess that it's like probably 30 to 40 degrees when you guys are pitching. And it's kind of hard to throw a baseball in that. And do you think that's like kind of like maybe like an underrated thing that's just like, the weather really does affect you guys, especially pitchers pitching in Portland, Maine in late April and early May?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the end all be all, of course, but it definitely plays a factor. Definitely, when you're pitching in the cold, it definitely brings out a little more soreness in the arm throughout the outing or post outing. You're going to be a little more sore because it's just going to take that much more to heat your body up and get it going and moving. But as well as like certain pitch grips can feel a little more slick when it's cold. So kind of for guys as like me, other guys throwing big sweeping pitches or big curveballs or something like that, like in the cold, it's a little more tough to throw them. It's something you have to get used to, obviously, if you're going to play ball up here. And I think we've all done a pretty good job of it. But as it warms up, it feels like the movement on the pitch also ticks up a little bit.
I was taking a peek at some of your numbers, obviously, before you hopped on. And obviously, I know the cold weather and everything's a factor, but this might be the first time in your career you've had a K per 9 under 10 at this point in the season. And I know that's not end all be all, but for you, I guess for an example, like I spoke with Connolly earlier in the season, and he had an outing where his best pitch is change up, and he was trying not to throw it as much in an outing. Like they didn't want him to throw it as much; they wanted him to hit other usage goals. For you, like, have you had any times like this year, like in your starts, where you're maybe not throwing your best pitch? Maybe they're just like, hey, we want to see what you do in this situation. Like, have you been working on some things early on that may not have affected, I guess, put up the best stats for you?
Yeah, I would say early on, kind of I fell into that trap. Went away from the sweeper, my decision for a little bit, just to hone on some other pitches and try to get some other things working. So obviously didn't have that big punch out pitch like I did last year, and kind of trying to get away from the fastball right now and just to work on the other pitches. We know the fastball's there, that we know the velocity's there. So we know that we're going to have 1 to 2 to 3 other pitches at the next level to navigate lineup, especially as a starter to go through the lineup 2, 3 times. So yeah, I mean, there's times where I would probably want to throw a different pitch or maybe a different pitch would work, but we're kind of working on stuff, and a lot of times our scouting report says one thing, and then sometimes the hitters just adjust. That's just how baseball is. Uh, we've made jokes about the K per nine kind of thing, how I'm kind of the low hanging guy right now on the staff for K per nine, which is funny. Um, but I think the biggest improvement is kind of the batted ball in play, and the hard contact has dipped down. So I'm willing to trade a couple points on the K per nine for not giving up as many barrels this year.
I mean, you're still at 9.4. It's not like it's bad. It's not like you're at like 6 or something like that. But
Yeah.
I think if it was down at 6, people would probably be worrying. But no, it's really not bad. But that also brings up another thing too. You're talking about obviously some other guys you're sharing rotations with, and you have guys like Connolly Early and Blake Wehunt or Donnie Monegro. You had Tyler Uberstein in that rotation for a while. You got Isaac Coffey's now back, Mullins. You got a ton of studs that were in that rotation at some point this year. What does that do for you? Like, do you see Connolly out there, punching out 8, 9 a night? You see like Hayden Mullins coming up Double A and doing what he's done, and Monegro's doing the same thing. What does that do for you, I guess, when it's your turn to take the ball?
I mean, it's definitely a motivator. You see the guys around you, you see your buddies go out there and dominate, and it makes you want to dominate as well. I know it was almost frustrating to the point at the beginning of the season when I wasn't having such good results, and we were still tinkering with usages and pitches and everything like that. And I'd have to grind through an outing to limit maybe 1 to 2 runs, and then Early goes out there and just strikes out the world, shuts it down. And then Yordani follows him, and then Wehunt follows him. And I was like, man, these guys are making it look so easy. But it's definitely a motivating factor. Like I want to compete to the level those guys are competing. And if I have a good week, they want to compete to the level I'm at. And we kind of have competitions, everything. I think Early and Yordani have been having like a strikeout competition. So Early took the cake this week. Yordani had it the week before. But we have fun with it. It's a lot of fun. We kind of bounce ideas for pitches off of each other, kind of what our mindset is. So we're all pulling in the same direction, and we're all pulling for each other while also competing against each other. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Portland, obviously the pitching staff is one of my favorites to watch in the system right now. I think you guys have a ton of talent. That same can be said for the lineup as well. And, you obviously got to throw in front of a guy like, Justin Garcia, who has been absolutely tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. Has that surprised you at all that he's gone up and done what he done?
No, not at all.
Okay. So what did you notice about him? Obviously, you got to play with him last year as well. And, when I saw him in person for the first time, I think when Portland was down in Harrisburg last year, I saw him playing center field. I'm like, this guy is too freaking big to be moving like that in center field. So what did you see from him when you were throwing in front of him when he was down there with you?
I mean, dude's just a ball player. Is how I describe it. He gets the game. He gets himself is the biggest thing. He gets how he wants to play, how he wants to go about his business. And then obviously, you're going to have a little bit better umpires and probably a little bit better pitching up in AAA. So he knows he's going to get strikes up there. So he's going to ambush the guys. And he kind of had that down here. And obviously in AA, there's going to be some spotty umpires where he's going to get hosed on a couple calls. And it kind of puts him in defense mode. But I feel like up there, he's just getting to live free, and just attack pitchers. And that's where he makes his bread and butter.
Yeah, I think he's benefiting from the ABS just a little bit. I see a lot of guys come up and it's like they know the strikes. Like Chase Mydroth was a great example of that. He came up and he absolutely dominated that strike zone, man. He was fun to watch. But okay, so back to yourself now. Obviously, we've seen a few guys this year obviously go up, and Tyler Rubenstein in the rotation go up, and there's obviously people in social media and everything throwing around like we got to see Connolly Early go up, we got to see David Sandlin go up to AAA, and how hard is that to, I guess, stay focused and stay where you are compared to obviously you're a social media guy. So you see
Yeah.
a lot of stuff out there. So how hard is it to kind of just like stay there and just be like, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing?
I mean, I think it kind of goes back to the group of guys that we have. It makes it really easy. Even if you're playing well and you feel like promotion should happen or soon, or even if we feel that way for someone else, like on our pitching staff, like a ton of us probably feel like early is ready to get that test. But at the same time, we know we got guys up in AAA, and we know we got guys at the big league level. And that's just part of baseball, getting kind of stuck, I would say. But at the same time, like we got to pay our dues, we got to keep going, and we got to force the hand. And it makes it easy when you have a good group of guys around you to where it doesn't feel like you're stuck. Like none of us feel like we're stuck, no matter how good we're throwing. We're kind of just happy to be playing ball. We're happy to be around each other every day at the field, and happy to be competing, and we'll continue to work on stuff. And we know at some point, if you pitch well enough, it's going to come. Whether it be for the Red Sox, or if the Red Sox just not have room, then you'll be somewhere else. But like you're pitching for yourself as much as you want to pitch for the Red Sox. So it's tough. I would say just for a brief moment, and then you remember like, man, I'm playing baseball for a living. I'm with a good group of guys. We're having fun. We're competing every day, and that kind of just goes away and takes care of itself.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you as well about the social media thing. Obviously you are, I think, one of the more active minor leaguers that I've seen in the Red Sox organization in a while. I know Christopher Troy was pretty active a year or two ago, but I think you might take the cake on, the most interactive. You and Hunter Dobbins both. You guys are up there on, I guess, replying to fans, doing all that, which is great. So I always ask guys, it's like, how big are you in social media? Obviously, we know you're big. I know guys like Nick Sogard, they're quietly big. They just search their name on Twitter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So for you, like, what do you like the most, I guess, about being so, I guess, like react, just like being active on social media compared to like a lot of your other teammates are not?
I just kind of think that's just who I am. I'm just another guy that throws a white baseball hard, I guess. Like it doesn't make me any different than anybody else. Like I'm someone that likes to like communicate. I like to have fun and everything. And I would say that like I was a fan. I'm still a fan like of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And how cool would it be to me if I had SGA or someone like that tweeting at me? So I think that it's a good way to interact with fans, and I think it's easy and harmless. Like it's just who I am. I'm not anyone special. That I'm just like, oh, I'm too good to not answer this person. Like if someone's gonna tweet at me, I'm gonna do my best to respond to them and have a little fun with it.
So I do need to settle this one. I know I tweeted at you the other after your shutout. Were you at least like maybe even like a 1% better because of Oklahoma City the game the night before? Were you at least like a little more jacked up than usual?
I don't know if I was more jacked up for the game, but I was definitely more jacked up the night before. Before I watched Star Wars, obviously watched the game. Was very excited. First time since 2012, getting to play for a finals. Obviously, it was 11 years old when that last one happened. Had a good team then, and I think this is a better team now, and I think we have a real shot. And I've made the jokes that, man, I need an off day to fly back for the parade if they win it. Obviously, that won't happen, but I'll be sending a bunch of my buddies there to get me like merch or something like that. I said as soon as they win, I'm buying an SGA Finals jersey. I was pretty pumped up, but I don't think it played too much into the outing.
Okay, that's fair. I just know the whole country, I think that I've seen is rooting for OKC. I don't think anybody really wants Indiana to win. I don't know.
Well, it's a lot of fun because that's actually where all my family's from. So all my
Oh,
family's kind of rooting for the Pacers. Like my mom and dad grew up loving Reggie Miller, watching the Pacers then, didn't get a championship then. So now I'll be kind of poking and prodding at them, especially if Oklahoma City wins.
okay. Yeah, I got a lot on the line in that series. That's kind of fun. I didn't realize that they were Indiana. So
Okay.
all right, well that'll be a fun series for you, I guess. Probably be hearing it after every game, where you'll be dishing it out. So um,
Absolutely.
All right, I got 2 questions left for you, and I'll let you slide. You finished the year last year in Portland. You started this year, obviously there. So you've had some time now, kind of up in Maine. What are you liking so far about Maine? Just living there and being around.
I'm a big seafood guy, so I think that obviously being up here and getting the seafood and getting the lobster and everything is awesome. Um, I think I like how kind of there's enough to do, and it's low key. It's the reason I love Oklahoma. It's just kind of a low key place, and up here there's a lot of nature and like just kind of places you can go to get away from all like the city and everything like that. And I know my girlfriend enjoys that as well, especially with our puppy. But that's kind of what I've enjoyed, especially once the weather gets warmer, getting to, on an off day, whether go play golf somewhere, go on a hike, just kind of get outside and get away from everything.
Yeah, no, it's warming up in Portland. I know it's been pretty freaking cold up there, so I know golf probably hasn't been as enjoyable, but we're starting to get there, I
It's
think.
more the rain. It's been more the
Yeah,
rain than the cold.
that's fair. Yeah, I feel like it's you guys never have got. There was like a month stretch you guys never played on a Saturday Sunday. That was
Yeah,
incredible.
I think the only series so far that we've played was in Hartford, and that was the only time we haven't had a game rained out.
That's
And
insane.
opening weekend.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's just been horrible weather up there. I'm going to be honest, but hopefully it's
Yeah.
turning a corner. Fingers crossed. All right. One last question for you here. I know that you obviously coming off Player of the Week last week probably wasn't something that you went into the week saying I want to win Player of the Week. I don't think that's ever really a thought in your mind. But now that we are getting a lot closer towards, so let's say the All-Star break mid-season, what other goals do you have that you want to accomplish by then? Like, have you set anything, like whether it be statistic goals, whether it's like velo, like anything? Like, do you have anything that you want to hit by midseason?
Definitely want to see the end zone strikes to continue to take up. Beginning of the season, they were a little lower than they tend to be, and I think that led to a lot of the kind of issues I dealt with early on. So just getting the zone more, when the race to 2 strikes is definitely one of them. Obviously, always want the velo to go up. That's never going to not be a chase. And then just kind of keep working on. We're working on a change up, splitter, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of pat that down. I know personally, I view that as like my biggest goal to get that down as a weapon versus lefties. Just so I can kind of not be almost a platoon arm without being a platoon arm. I want to be able to dominate both sides of the plate and have a pitch that dominates both sides of the plate.
Yeah, that's obviously great goals to have going towards midseason. But David, I appreciate all the time as always. Obviously, you've joined numerous times now, so thank you so much for the time, and obviously wishing you best of luck for the rest of 25.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.